Sorted, yeah? Sorted.
Okay, you're live.
Yeah?
You're live.
Sure? Live for who?
Live for us.
So that online no one can see this?
Not at the moment. Maybe some people, maybe not. We're working on it.
Latif? Any ideas?
Fine.
No, as in, can they see it?
I can see it.
No, online, are people able to see it? Are people saying yes?
Some no.
Okay, anyway. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillah. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik ala nabina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. Allahumma la sahla illa ma ja'altahu sahla wa anta taj'alul hazna idha shi'ta sahla. Allahumma a'inna ala dhikrika wa shukrika wa husna ibadatik ya Rabbil Kareem. So folks, obviously there's some kind of problem there that we don't know, we can't identify, but there you go. Forgive me for that if you're watching this recorded. We tried our best, we waited 15 minutes to try and fix the problem, we couldn't. You'll just have to catch the recording later. Also, you will have an opportunity for just a few more days. If you haven't re-registered your details for the new system, there's only a few more days left to do that. Okay, that was going to be cancelled, but you know that you'll get the opportunity again. How will you do that? You'll have to go and find the original email in your inbox that got sent out last week, and then you click on that link if you haven't already, and you re-register if you haven't already. If you have, that's fine. So that's that. Anyway, let's just jump straight into the text then. I think what I wanted to talk about is this. There's one thing I wanted to clarify from before as well. Maybe I'll start with that. So you know, we had a long discussion about the issue of what we can do with gold when we're in possession of it, gold utensils and gold jewelry and this, that, and we opened up unintentionally, but it had to happen. We opened up into the discussion of the mas'ala or the issue of hal al-kuffar mukhatab li-furu'. Are the non-Muslims being addressed and being held accountable to the secondary matters in the religion? And by that, if you remember, I was saying the halal and haram, those things which are halal and haram for Muslims. Can we allow non-Muslims to deal in that? Can we? And I said to you that the majority of the scholars, and I said to you that the position which is closer to my heart is that they're not allowed. Therefore, you know, selling pork to a non-Muslim, even though it's halal for him, or selling dhabiha meat, like, you know, haram carrion or whatever, or selling gold to someone who's going to wear it, a male in jewelry, right? So it's haram for him to do that, but you know, it's haram for Muslim male to wear it, and even though it's permissible for him, this ruling would mean that it wouldn't be permissible. And I explained that in detail, I don't need to go over that again, okay? And I know a lot of people are still confused about that. And the reason they're confused, and they keep bringing up a number of points, the reason they're confused, and I don't want this to continue as a back and forth, is because this is a mas'ala of khilaf. That's why. It's not, the issue is not confusing, that there are two positions that the scholars hold. The minority allowed it, meaning the minority said that, we'll talk about the minority in a second, but the majority said that no, the non-Muslims will be held accountable. It's not just that they have to believe in Islam, but they will be held accountable for the salah, they'll be held accountable for not giving zakah, they'll be held accountable for not doing hajj, and so on and so forth. Okay, and that's the ayah ما سلككم في سقر. What did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran says that what made you go into the hellfire? قالوا, what did they say? We were not from the musallin. We were not other people who gave that sadaqah and zakah. We were not other people who used to pray. This is the kuffar speaking, etc, etc, etc. It's a very strong opinion. Anyway, there's obviously criticism against this opinion, obviously, because as one sister mentioned out, and as we explained even at the time of explaining the hadith, that the Prophet ﷺ said that don't wear this or don't use this. This is for them, referring to the gold utensils. This is for them in the dunya, وَلَكُمْ فِي الْآخِرَةِ. That this is something which is allowed for them in the dunya and for you in the akhirah. So therefore, this is to suggest that this is something allowed. No, answer the response to that is not necessarily. It's something which is allowed for them if they get it hold of themselves. This does not justify you giving it to them or you helping and supporting them in that. You could, the ayah of Surah Al-Kafirun, lakum dinukum waliyadin. For you, your religion, for me, mine, is a kind of statement saying that you go ahead and practice yours and good luck to you, and we will go ahead and practice ours. Well, this is also not a proof. This is just a statement of fact. You go and practice your own religion, we'll do our own religion. Doesn't mean that we're going to help you in your religion. A much stronger evidence, as far as I'm concerned, are the ahkam of Ahlul Dhimma, the rulings that are well established that deal with the people who are with a treaty or under a pact, under protection of the Muslims. So these are minorities of non-Muslim groups that are living in an Islamic state, and effectively they pay a tax and they are protected. And in these protectorates, if you like, or in this scenario, there is a lot of discussion in the books of rulings and fiqh about what they're allowed to do. That they're allowed to, sell their own haram things to one another, make their own haram things one another, wed one another according to Christian custom, etc., etc. So this would then suggest that it's permissible top down to allow people to rule by themselves. I just want to say to you that it's not, that the reason people are confused on the ruling of this is because it is a matter of a difference of opinion. And you're either going to choose one or the other opinion. You're either going to say that no, they are held accountable by Sharia, therefore I can't give them gold fillings for beautification. I can't sell gold cutlery to them that they're going to use to eat with. I can't give a male gold jewelry. I can't sell a silk tie to a non-Muslim gentleman. I can't give my bottle of alcohol which I received as a gift and I don't want it, and I can't give it to my neighbor because I'm helping them in the sin. If you follow the majority opinion, then all of these is can't. Okay? If you follow the minority opinion, and it's a valid opinion, and I want to just emphasize that. That's the reason I want to go on record to say that if you wish, you feel a lot of pressure, you got a lot of very expensive cutlery, or you got very lot of expensive jewelry, and you do want to give it away to non-Muslims, I want to say to you that there is some basis for that. My own sheikh, or one of my own mashayikh, Sheikh Ihlan, that is his opinion. His opinion has always been that he doesn't feel that non-Muslims are held accountable to Sharia. And when he discusses it, he doesn't really go into detail, in fairness. He just keeps it simple. And if you keep it simple, then you got your strongest argument. When you keep it simple, you say, well, what's the point of holding them accountable to the details when they're not even Muslim? It's a simple argument. When you keep it simple, it seems pretty obvious. But as you know, the devil is always in the detail. So when you start critiquing the issue more, looking at the evidences more, you seem to kind of find evidences might be against that. Anyway, I'm just saying it's a valid opinion for people who do have that, because I understand from a lot of people, especially the converts, that they have a lot of this material or stuff. And if you have that, then you can give it away, inshallah, ruling by that opinion. I'm giving you permission to do that based upon that minority opinion. All right, anyway, that's what I wanted to say. Now, let's deal with the text at hand. It's page 109 in the text, page 2 in the notes. I don't have the English to hand, I forgot it at home. But basically it's just the statement, وَبُعْدُهُ فِي فَضَاء, meaning that the continuing with the recommended matters, we've finished the issue of supporting one's weight, number 3, on the left foot. If you remember, we said even though there's some medical basis for this, right and left and etc., actually there's no evidence from Sharia. And so therefore it is quite fine for you to squat. And I explained that, minus all the jokes and the fun, squatting is very important, and it's a way back to the old style and old system, and it helps in keeping ourselves out of the toilet very quickly. And it's very interesting, of course, on Facebook, someone posted a video and then to me, and I hadn't seen it before, and then I watched it and I put it out as well. And it's very interesting that they created this device. SubhanAllah, these non-Muslims that come out of all bakwas, man, it's amazing. They're so innovative, it's incredible. Yeah. But basically they proved that squatting is the way to do it. They proved that sitting on a toilet is a disaster. And so they married the two. And they know that we're not going to go out to the back of the garden anymore. That's all finished now, yeah? So basically they married the two, and they said, we're going to teach you. You see, the Arabs, yeah? Yemenis, yeah, definitely, right? Many of the Arabs. I'll even say many Paks as well. They'll squat straight on a toilet. Okay, they consider that toilet dirty, and so they will literally stand on the toilet and they'll squat on the toilet, which for me is a disaster. as you're gonna see in the next 2 pages. Okay, but the point is that there is actually, subhanallah, a very clever way out of that. What they've devised is that you sit down on the toilet as per normal, seated toilet. But if you put this device, and it's basically, I mean, they've made a device because it shapes to the toilet and it goes in. But basically a stool, that's all it is. So just get a cardboard box from home, do it, and pack away, yeah? So you're basically putting it right at the foot of the cistern, right? And then you're putting your feet on top of it. So you're sitting on the toilet, but your feet are a foot off the floor. And when that happens, you create a squatting position whilst you're still seated on the toilet. Your knees go all the way up, and obviously, what's the beautiful thing about this? It is a work of beauty, I gotta say, yeah? Is that there's no pressure upon the legs, because you're still sitting on the toilet. But what happens, of course, is that the knees are brought up. That therefore increases the pressure upon the diaphragm and it reduces the volume inside, which creates a squeezing action, creates natural evacuation with respect to keeping the intestines, colons straight down. You know what I'm saying? Yeah? I think it's quality, yeah? Like I said, you can either buy their plastic ones called Squat Potty or some bakwas like that, I don't know, yeah? And, or something. But I'm saying just get the kids' toolbox or something, yani, you know? We can do a cheap way around that, no problem. So, that was number 3. So number 4 now, وَبُعْدُهُ فِي فَضَاء. And for him to be ba'id, meaning far away, okay, in fada. Fada means, fada is derived from my favorite word in history, yeah, fadi, okay. When I say this is kalam fadi, meaning that this is just pointless speech. Fadi means empty, okay, fadi means empty. When you hear lots of these people saying this is kalam fadi, means empty talk, meaning useless talk, meaning you're just talking bakwas basically, yeah. Bakwas, nonsense. The Arab version of bakwas is kalam fadi, yeah. Proper English, nonsense. So you don't know, everyone asks me now what bakwas means or what kalam fadi means. Now you know, okay? So fadi means empty. So the whole point here is that get out there, get away from the eyes of the people. Now, number 4, what is recommended is to be far away from the people. And this is obvious, okay? And there is a basis for this in the Sunnah as well, from the hadith on the next page, in the hadith of Al-Mughira ibn Shu'bah, that's narrated in Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim. And in this hadith, the Prophet ﷺ, he left Mughira, went with him, and then he left Mughira behind, and he went far away from him. And obviously going far away from him is to create distance, to protect the honor and the aura, protect the honor and the aura. So you're so far away that you can't be seen, and you're that far away that, someone can't come upon you in a state of undress or sounds and all the rest of it. It's a dirty thing that you're doing. This is clearly something which is not so relevant in our time, although I was thinking about this, it wouldn't be so crazy to do a modern day application of this and plan the position of your bathrooms as a result of this, all right, with respect to in the house. But I think that's a general common sense thing anyway. People try not to put the bathrooms in really obvious places. I'm just saying, try and put them in more hidden places. Bob's is like, what kind of statement was that? Maybe what I want to say is that instead of, from a planning point of view, from a building point of view, instead of using partition walls, make brick walls. Just apply the fiqh. That's what I'm saying. Because most people, when they make a thingy, having just built my house and knowing this very, very well, okay, most people, when they want to, stick in a cheeky little bathroom somewhere or a little ensuite, whatever, they slap up a quick partition wall, does bit of pieces of wood, put plasterboard up, and job done. All right. I'm saying that there maybe is some kind of wisdom, not saying it's sunnah or anything, that to make that a bit thicker, a bit more solid, to create that bit more soundproofing and that bit more privacy. Okay, that's the point I wanted to say. And then he says, number 5, wastitaruhu, and his concealing. And Sheikh Uthaymeen said, and it is recommended, okay, to conceal oneself. And the intention here by the statement of concealing is to conceal one's entire body. This is better, he says. And this is because of the hadith of Mughira. What do you think the Prophet ﷺ went so far away? Because obviously he wants to cover his body. And it's not talking about the aura, because to cover the aura is wajib anyway. You can't say this is referring to the aura. These are recommended matters of going to the toilet. Yeah? So it can't be referring to the awrah because it's haram to show the awrah, right? So this is referring to the entire body, meaning that this is not a becoming kind of state to be seen in or to be caught in. So that's that. Now I'll tell you something very interesting. Sheikh Muhammad Mukhtar, Hafidhahullah Ta'ala, he mentions that there's another meaning to istitar here as well. And what he basically wants to say is that what did he say? He said that it's obviously clear that to cover your body is one meaning, but there's a second meaning as well that we should consider. That the hadith that we all know, the hadith of Abdullah ibn Abbas, which is narrated in Sahih Bukhari, which was the Prophet ﷺ, he walked past the grave and he said these two people are being punished. Yu'adhaban. Okay, they're being punished. I think you know this hadith, yes? What are the two things he was being punished for? Backbiting and? So, one said not washing yourself. Not cleaning himself after urinating. Anyone else? Not protecting his clothes from urinating. Have you seen so much variation in just like three people? Look at the variation. Sheikh? Okay, what do you think that means? يعني لا يستتر البول. What do you think that means? Because that's the Arabic, okay? I'll read the Arabic and you think about it. I thought this would be an interesting exercise. إنهما يعذبان. Both of them are being punished. وما يعذبان في كبير. And it's not a major issue to them that they thought that they're being punished for. أما أحدهما فكان لا يستنزه من بوله. And in another narration, لا يستتر من بوله. Now, the famous narration that everyone knows is لا يستنزه من بوله. That he did not avoid or did not take precaution to avoid the urine going onto his clothes. That's the correct meaning when you take that translation. So it's basically splashing. So wherever he's urinating is splashing back onto his clothes, or maybe he's very, very lax with it, just urinating here, urinating there, not caring or whatever. The other narration, which is also authentic, changes that last part, لا يستتر من بوله. And if we have that translation, then what it basically means here is that this person was not being punished for the fact that the urine was splashing on his clothes, but because he was not protecting his awrah. And so therefore, adds another dimension to the meaning of this hadith. And Allah knows best. That you will be punished for being lackadaisical in using the toilet. And this is a very relevant thing for males in male toilet urinals. Okay? Because obviously, we're going to establish soon, okay, inshallah in this lesson, if we get time, we're going to establish that it is allowed, quite allowed, to pray standing up, to urinate standing up. Okay? To urinate standing up. It's a big debate, we'll discuss it a little bit, yeah? Now, once you open that door, then the only point of urinating standing up is of course for the male urinal, really, alright? Obviously you might still urinate in a normal toilet, okay, but once you've opened up the door to allowing people to stand and urinate, then it means standing in urinals. And the obvious problem with urinals is that they're open or far too open and you can see each other's private parts. And so therefore, to look at another person's private parts is haram. There's no doubt about that. And if there's no choice for a person to do that because he can't find a space and he tries his best to cover himself when he's going to the toilet back in the old days, he would be pardoned if he tries his best, which is why it's only mustahab. He tries his very best to find a place where he can conceal himself. But if he can't, then he has to try his best where he is, and everyone else has to fear Allah and, look elsewhere. Which is why Arabs, Masakin, they didn't get it right when it comes to their clothes. You look at the packs, we smashed it, yeah? Shalwar kameez, what a great cloth to have. Yeah, a lot of people have been saying, I don't understand the relevance of this subject because we've got toilets and stuff, it doesn't matter. You guys are going to have to leave Chido sometime in your life, yeah? You'll have to actually go out and travel somewhere and go out into the real world. The real world is not this using toilets and closed cubicles and clean whatever. The real world is fields, gardens, deserts, okay? And when you got your thobe on and you're trying to sit down, yeah, and go to the toilet with a thobe, it's all over, yeah? I'm telling you right now, right? First of all, it's all over. Second, there's no chance of you covering yourself. Shalwar kameez though, ya salam. You take your bottom part off, lift it up to the knees, I need to do a demonstration of that, but I can't, to be honest, because my knees. The
Maybe you should have worn short kameez today.
I should have worn shalwar, huh? Quite a few brothers here. ठीक है, sah. We have a brother who's wearing shalwar kameez. I think gives a very good demonstration. The fact that he's a Liverpool fan, even better. even better. Allah, he's my elder, so I'm going to respect him and protect him. But I will say this much. On a serious note, although how I can do this without laughing, I don't know. But imagine that you are about to go to the toilet outside. A lot of people have absolutely no idea. They complain, I can't do it, can't sit down. How do you protect, whatever, whatnot? Well, first of all, you have two options. When it comes to your bottom shalwar, the trousers, pants, pajamas, whatever you want to call them, right? They are either going to come off if you're completely inexperienced, so you just take them off completely. Well, what else are you going to do if you're not experienced enough? Or you do what you should be doing, okay? And this is what people don't know. You bring up the bottom to the knee, so you roll up the bottoms to the knee, and you roll the bottoms down to the knee as well. So everything is now around the knee parts. Does that make sense? So then when you sit down, that's the only way you can sit down, by the way. And then you'll have them collected here. So from there collected, from there collected. So it's now all collected there, and that basically means that your entire nether regions are completely exposed when it comes to sitting down. Alright? That's the first part. That's going to happen regardless of whether you're wearing shalwar kameez or whether you're wearing just standard trousers or anything. It's not possible to do it any other way. If you try to leave this bottom part there, you won't be able to sit down and all the rest of it. That's fine. The second problem, of course, is now that you've been able to sit down, you've got to try and cover this part up. If you've got a thobe on, then Allah help you. Because there's no way that you're going to be able to sit down and then cover these parts. There's no way. With shalwar kameez, what happens is that, you see, that's why the split's there for, you see. So that split, you take it, and this is what my uncles taught me when I was back in the Birn, right? You take that and you put it down, right? You put it down, and you take the front part and you put it down, and basically what you have is that from the front, no one can see your private parts. From the back, no one can see your private parts because you have that front flap of the kameez, the back flap of the kameez covering, and you're protected. You see, the problem is that people don't do it, so they have no idea. But I know it's funny, but you have to know this.
I think this is not talking about the wudu you are doing advertisement.
Advertisement for shalwar kameez. Wallahi, any advertisement for shalwar kameez is a good advertisement, So I hope you understand that point, that there is, and this will come relevant with the next point that's recommended, because when it comes to finding the area to go to the toilet, this is very important. I know people are thinking, well, I'm sitting in a toilet and I will be. I can say to you now, it's pathetic if you are going to live your life thinking that you will always have a toilet everywhere. If you're going to go anywhere in your life, you're going to have to assume that there are no seated toilets. And forget about that. What about going to even a nice area, a nice place, and they've only got a floor toilet? Likewise, most people, they can't handle it. Most people, they go into that cubicle and they just take all their clothes off. That's what they do. Huh? We looked at me before. That's what they do. They do that because they don't know how to deal with the thingy. Oh, did you say, how do I know? Astaghfirullah. Me, I'm an expert, I just taught you how to do it properly, you cheeky pack. Have you heard? Anyway, so what they do is they take off all their clothes. Because there's too much, I know that's fair enough. It's fair enough. You're going to make dua anyway, protection. You might as well, if you're going to go naked, you might as well go naked, khalas then, But I'm just saying, the reason they do it is because it's too much hassle. They don't know how to hold the clothes like this, how to put the clothes like that, what's going to splash, what's not. So there is a point here. There will be some times where you can't take off all your clothes. So you have to be able to understand how to sit down and make sure that the bottom part of your entire nether regions is exposed completely, so that you're able to either go for a 1 or 2 and there be no way of soiling whatever clothes you're wearing, and then clean yourself, which is going to come up, without further soiling your clothes. You have to, as Muslims, understand how to do that. I'm telling you, frankly, just because most of the time you're not going to do it because you're in a normal toilet, it doesn't give you protection. Anyway, so I think that we need to be very careful with respect to this issue. And then the next point the Shaykh then talks about وَارْتِيَادُهُ لِبَوْلِهِ مَكَانٍ رَخْوَةٍ, that he then seeks, he actively tries his hardest. Irtiyad means talab, means he tries his best to find a place which is soft. And why is it soft? Because obviously when you urinate onto something soft, it absorbent kind of area. That's what you're looking for, as opposed to something hard. And when you urinate on something hard, that's where splashes are going to happen. Now, anyone who's urinated outside will know that. That's why it's disgusting what people do when they go and urinate. First urinate publicly and then urinate against the wall. It's like disgusting. Or urinate on the pavement. It's disgusting for everyone else. It's the cursed action. The Prophet ﷺ told the people in the authentic hadith that protect yourself from becoming from the cursed. And they said, who are the two cursed people? And the Prophet ﷺ said that the one who does the urinates in the path, in the tariq, and وَفِي ظِلِّهِمْ, and in their shaded areas. In those areas where they're relaxing and chilling. That they know, everyone has, in the hot countries, in the very hot countries, everyone knows at what time, what place will be shaded. And so they all congregate in these areas. And so people obviously want to do that, urinate in those areas as well, because obviously it's cooler or whatever, I don't know. And so these are cursed people. So what I'm saying is that there might be emergency scenarios where you need to go and urinate, but to urinate publicly is disaster. Urinate in the path is haram, and to urinate upon a surface where it's very likely for it to splash back upon you, that's a problem. Which is why you need to try your best to find a place where the urine does not splash back. Now this is of course talking classically. Classically speaking, you're looking for soft ground, earth ground. When people go camping and stuff like that, certain leaves, certain areas you'll find are problematic, whereas other ground is a lot better. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as narrated in some ahadith, he used to carry a spearhead with him. A spearhead. In a hadith of Anas ibn Malik, I remember that he would take the spearhead and Anaza, exactly. And the anaza is a tiny spearhead basically. And what he would do with it is, if he come across this part of ground that was not hard, he would scrape the ground. So quick dig kind of, that would create a condition so that when urine falls upon it, it absorbs as opposed to splashing straight off. Okay, so this is an important point, and it's a delicate point as well, because you can go too far in this as well. And we're now going to enter the issue of waswasa. Now, the whispering of shaitan is most strongest upon a Muslim in the chapters of purification. When it comes to how the shaitan attacks a practicing Muslim, the non-practicing Muslims, there's no issue. They're all his slaves anyway. All out there, left their deen, left Allah, left his messenger, left the prayer. He doesn't care about them. So he needs to take us guys down. Those who pray, those who care about deen and stuff. So where are his main targets? And how does he hit the practicing Muslims? By creating doubt. And what does shaitan, create doubt in most strongest? Purification. And we're going to be discussing this a lot over the next couple of weeks, because we're now coming to those areas where he rules. He really runs things. And the first aspect of his weapon, his first weapon against Muslims, is when you're urinating, how freaked out you get by any kind of small splash. You got to try your hardest, but you can't lose the plot. You got to try your hardest, but you can't just always think that, right, that's it, I'm dead, I'm finished, now I have to go and wash all my clothes and all the rest of it. Okay, you try your best, and then and there's a chart here that Muhammad Mukhtar Shanqiti he's created, and I've been playing with this all day. Shall I say that to them? Shall I not? Shall I say it to them? Shall I not? Because you see, the classical, don't say Arab, the classical approach, Muslim approach, traditional approach to fiqh, is to really go into a lot of detail on these things, right? But sometimes it makes things too difficult for the people. If I say to you that he said that there is two places that you're going to urinate, in a hard place or a soft place, and there's two, and for each place, the place is either going to be pure or dirty. So it's either going to be a tahir place, or it's either going to be a najas place. So that's 4 scenarios. And then he's going to give now, for these 4 scenarios, what the scholars said is recommended. Not obligatory, but recommended. I'll just say it anyway as a learning point. So he said, if the makan is tahir salban, if the place that you're going to urinate is pure and hard, what do you think? How should you urinate? What do you think? He says you should urinate while sitting down. You should urinate while sitting down. If the area is filthy, najas, rakhwa, if it's filthy and soft, then you should urinate standing. You should urinate standing. If the place is najas and hard, he shouldn't urinate there at all. Because obviously it's going to splash, and the splash back is not going to just be the urine, but also the najasa which is already in that area. And this is really very relevant in areas where the toilet has become overflowing, you're desperate, etc., etc. This is a reality. If you don't think you're ever going to go back to your parent and see that, wait till you go on Umrah. And you're stuck on that road to Medina, and you got to use one of those Saudi diners, then you're going to realize what we're talking about, You go into that toilet and you see a mountain, and you think, oh my God, And the final thing is that if the place is pure and hard, then he has the choice of either urinating standing or sitting. And all of this, if you look at all of these permutations, are all to do with the likelihood of the urine splashing back. And when it splashes back, what the effect will be. Okay?
That last one was pure and hard or pure and soft?
No, pure and hard.
That's what he starts with as well, yeah?
No,
There's only one possibility of that.
Subhanallah. You know what it is? It's a mistake in the text. It has to be pure. It has to be pure and soft. Pure and soft. Although the text says tahir and salba. Anyway, it's a typo. Yes, pure and soft. Correct. Jazakumullah khair. Yeah, pure. If the area is pure and soft, then he can either urinate standing or sitting down, because it's not going to really matter. Okay. So anyway, I hope that makes sense. All right. So that's from that point of view. What's the modern day application of that point? The modern day application goes back to my favorite subject, toilets. Okay. You see what I said to you? Toilets is a knowledge. It's a real knowledge. I'm telling you, man. All right. You will go to like Apna countries, you'll find that the hole is very small. Have you noticed? Yeah. You go to our countries, we've got like more medium sized, okay, more medium sized, and the water is very, very low. You go to the States, go to Canada, and all the rest of it, their system is a different one. You know what their system is? Their system is that the water level is like literally like 2 inches underneath your backside. Does that make sense? Yeah, many of you guys here won't have seen it, but do you understand what I'm trying to say? So you know our toilet, you've got like about that much drop before it hits the water. Yeah? So imagine that water level is up to here, full of water. I'm thinking that there's a fiqh behind that. The fiqh is that anything which is falling from you is falling very quickly into the water, and I'm guessing by that minimizes splashing and so on. And in general, I think it does. Allah alam. Okay? I think it does. Because obviously the problem with having low water, which is my big problem with the squatting idea, if you not squatting but actually standing on your toilet and then squatting, is that you're increasing the height, to higher. So you're creating like, a really big you're creating a bomb situation there, you know what I'm saying? And it goes, and that water splash is going to go everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So it's a disaster. So I'm saying that and I'm telling you now, you guys think it's all funny. Mate, I spent 3 weeks choosing my toilets, 3 weeks. And I looked at everything. I looked at the size, I looked at the fiqh, I looked at the angle. The front part is also very important. Because our modern day makan and rakhwa is the angle, the angulature or the angle of the front part. If it's too sheer, right, then there's a problem. If it's too in, like that shape, that's a problem. There's a perfect angle somewhere. I don't know what that angle is, but we do need to calculate that angle. It's clearly a perfect angle where impact versus angle equals equals minimal splashback or no splashback. I don't know. It needs to be looked at. I'm telling you, it needs to be looked at. Now, back in the old days, back in the old days, I won't say back in the old days, back in my old days when I used to do locoming a lot and contracting, I used to use portable fiqh solutions. Portable fiqh solutions is that you're not confident about how clean a toilet is. Okay, so it's about then using tissue paper to line the area. So then it doesn't matter about angulature, you take out the angle problem. And if you put enough tissue there, then there's no way there's any splashback. So I'm saying that you can take this bit to too much of a sick level. I am aware that this can get a bit crazy. So that's why it's very important, in my opinion, why istinja, you making istinja with water is so helpful, because it gets rid of a lot of possibilities of any splashback, and also, as you're going to see, it gets rid of a lot of waswasa. Okay, it gets rid of a lot of waswasa, because if you've urinated and there has been potential splashback, there has been, but you've washed your private parts, and you know therefore that they're wet because of you've washed them, right? Because you definitely washed it. This is also like a weapon against shaitan. I'm going to talk about this a little bit later as well. I'm going to come to that. This is a very important point, and we have a precedent by Abdullah ibn Abbas that helps us in this. Okay, and it's something which I always recommend to my students. But anyway, so I'm saying that this is something that you need to be aware of. Don't take it too far, but it's something that you need to be aware of how you do it. Now, the next point, okay, so being concealed, urinating on soft ground. After urinating, to use the left hand to squeeze the penis, starting from its base to its head 3 times, and to shake it 3 times. Okay, so there's a lot of specific detail there that's being said from the madhab, and it's very interesting. I'm going to show you, and Allah forgive me, I'm going to use a finger. What else can I do? Yeah, left, right finger. I'm trying to work out there. Okay, so what it's referring to, okay, is that and this in Arabic, this in Sharia, I know in Arabic it's called silt. So there's actually a term for this. Yeah, it's called silt. Sin, lam, ta, silt. What is the process of silt? Silt is effectively aiding evacuation. So you finish urinating and you know that there's still, obviously it's for a male, obviously, and you know that the penis therefore definitely has more urine left in it. And so the base of the penis, okay, is therefore gently squeezed, and then it's like milking an udder. Yeah, that's what you're doing. So you're going along from the bottom to the top, and you're squeezing. And that's clearly the urethra. Yeah, the urethra is then being emptied almost. Yeah, 1, 2, and 3. And it's obviously squeezing everything out. You can see the common sense for that. Which one is it? Nasser again. Oh my God. Nasser, what was it? The guy's... Look at this guy, he's a grown man. Gus me, I don't believe it. What was the other lesson he ruined as well, wasn't it? No. What was the other lesson? Okay.
There's a section online actually.
You're not going to blame someone online, are you, bro? That's the worst and oldest trick in the book.
Yeah.
Go on and blame him.
Sister asks, you're mentioning the opinions of Sheikh Mukhtar Shanqiti.
Yep.
She asked, how would that apply for a sister?
How is that even funny, bro? Is that your excuse for laughing your brains out, getting red and making all these packs laugh, yeah? I mean, Gasme, that was the worst. At least make up the comment and say she wants to know what her base is. Right, okay. For a sister, just try your best. Because clearly for a sister it's messed up. Because that's going, water straight down. So maybe that's why the high water level is very much an advantage for her. She needs to do some fiqh, man. She needs to position herself in a way where it's not causing any, and that's I mean, on a serious point, that is a problem. When you're having a I mean, the ground toilets, the porcelain toilets, the ground ones, they're fine for a male because obviously he can direct his urine, yeah. But for a woman, it's just hitting that hard surface so close and it's causing splashing. It's a serious issue. And so you just have to try your best. Male, obviously, it's easier. Females are gonna have to just try their best. So back to this issue. So that's the point. And why are we doing this here? Why the fuqaha? Because they know there's a load of urine in there, and they know that if you leave it for a long period of time, then it's going to you will find some kind of wetness there. It's a fact. So this is a human issue that everyone knows. Females, not so much of a problem. Males, major issue. And this is where shaitan takes over. You're always thinking, and that's why people go to urinate in the toilet and they're sitting in there 5-10 minutes because they're squeezing, or drying, getting another tissue, drying, washing again and washing again, because you're thinking there's still more there. And so it's a real problem. So this is where the ilm comes to save us. Okay, this is where the knowledge comes to save us. Sheikh Uthaymeen, rahmatullah alayhi, he goes, and I want you to know that this is an incredibly weak statement. وَهَذَا قَوْلٌ ضَعِيفٌ جِدًّا. This is incredibly weak. لأنه لم يصح عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ولضرره. And he goes, first of all, this has never been authentically narrated from the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, ever. That's the first thing. This has been never authentically narrated from the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم that he did that. That's the end of the story. Secondly, he goes, medically, this is something which is harmful. You are putting pressure upon your urethra, and I'm sure there is some problems with that, no doubt. I don't know. Okay, so you're squeezing, you're this, you're that, and whatever. So this is no good, all right? And especially then if you add it to the next point, which is natar, which is shaking it and tapping it and shaking it. You know, all this kind of playing around is not healthy. Not healthy for this organ. And then he goes, and that is why Shaykhul Islam Ibn Taymiyyah rahmatullah alayhi, he come out with just the next level statement. A statement which, as I say, should be written in gold. He goes, الذكر كالضرع إن حلبته در وإن تركته قر. This is so good, honestly. He goes, the penis is like an udder. If you milk it, it will flow, and if you leave it, it will settle. So, yeah, dry up, it will settle. So what's the point being said? You know when you have a cow, yeah, and you milk the udders and you milk, yeah, and it's not easy to milk, by the way. Pulling at the same time, squeezing, pulling at the same time. You guys probably never ever seen a cow in your life, yani. All you modern log, yani, you see, that's the problem. So if you go and you milk and drink that milk as well, when you taste that milk, you'll be singing the praises of Sainsbury's and Tesco milk that you're drinking. But that milk is rough, by the way. Yeah. Anyway, so that milking process is like a tap. You squeeze, let go, it's gone. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? And you could come back and you could squeeze again, suddenly it comes back out again. Yeah? And you let go and it's gone again. What Shaykh al-Islam is saying, he goes that the penis is exactly the same. You're going to stay there for half an hour if you're going to keep squeezing. It will keep coming. And if you are letting that waswasa get to you, that's how shaitan takes over. He ruins your whole thought process by thinking you're not pure, you're najis, there's more. And Shaykh al-Islam saying that, well, if you're going to go for that shaitani logic, then you can stay there for a whole hour and keep squeezing, and you will always be able to get more urine out. No. That's not acceptable. So what do? We urinate, we stop, we try more, we stop, we try again, we stop, we wash, we go. That's it. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has obligated upon the Muslims. He didn't obligate that you stay there 5 minutes, 10 minutes. He didn't obligate that you squeeze this or you shake that or you drop this. He said you urinate and you wash and you go. That's it. And you go. If you then feel things afterwards, this, that, whatever, or you think it's wet, or I might be wet, you just say this is waswas from shaitan. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. And you ignore it. If you're struggling to ignore it, okay, I repeat to you this statement. You have only been obligated to urinate and leave in literally 1 or 2 minutes. Literally. Anything that happens after that, either you are ill and you are incontinent, and for that there's a separate whole ruling, okay, because you are literally dribbling and you don't have the control over the pelvic muscles, and that's something else, okay. Or you're normal and whatever comes out afterwards is forgiven. Whatever comes out, if it does come out, is forgiven. Ignore it. Don't sweat over it. And this is where I bring in the statement that's narrated in Al-Matalib by, and it's narrated on the authority of Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma. What he would do is that I love this, subhanAllah. After he would urinate, he would make istinja, and after he'd finished istinja, he would get water and he would sprinkle it over himself and his clothes. Slight sprinkling, and then put his clothes on. This is fiqh, akhi, fiqh. Yani, he knows shaitan's going to come to me, I'm going to slap him hard. When shaitan says to me that, oh, you will witness, yeah, mate, I know, I was me who did it. You see what I'm saying? That's the fiqh. You see? That's how the Sahaba, they knew that this is what shaitan's going to come to me at, this is what he's going to use. He can't bring any bigger game than that. That's his game. I'm going to bring my A game as well. So it's just another way of practically putting in this point. I will not allow doubt, because that's shaitan's number one weapon. I will not allow that to overcome me. You understand what I'm saying? I will not allow that to overcome me. So that's really good. And I just want to move on quickly to the shaking as well, which is called natar. And there's a hadith that's narrated in this matter. إذا بال أحدكم فلينتر ذكره ثلاثة. When one of you urinates, then let him shake his penis after it 3 times, meaning like to drop it off, like after he's finished, drop it, yani, shake it or whatever, so it drops off. But this hadith has been narrated by Imam Ahmed and so on, but it was considered weak by Imam al-Bayhaqi, by Imam al-Nawawi, by Ibn Hajar, and by Imam al-Busiri. Okay, so we consider this hadith to be weak. And that's why Shaykh al-Islam again said another amazing statement, rahmatullah alayhi. He goes, النتر بدعة وليس سنة ولا ينبغي للإنسان أن ينتر ذكره. That this process of natar is bid'ah. Anyone who goes around shaking his penis in this matter, wanting more urine to come out, this is not sunnah at all. In fact, it's bid'ah. And that's it. Let him not do that at all. You urinate, you're sure that it's done now. I can't hang around here for 5 minutes. I'm not meant to. Wash your penis or use tissue paper. It's dry. Don't keep going back. You keep going back after you've done your 3 times. That's the whole point of washing 3 times. You wash 3 times or you clean, we're going to come to that. Or you clean 3 times and then you move on. If you keep coming back, there's going to be more there. And then Shaykh Uthaymeen, he goes into a little bit of a discussion about how many statements, and this is why I said the classic ulama, they're specialists in making things difficult for people. Specialists. They'd make such a mission. Some of them said that what is required from the Muslims is that when they go to urinate, أَنَّهُ يَنْبَغِي لِلْإِنسان أَن يَتَنَحْنَحَ, that they have to cough. So you have to, when you go to urinate, when you finish urinating, you have to cough 3 times. To try and get everything out. You have to, is what they're saying. Okay? وَبَعْضُهُمْ قَالْ يَنْبَغِي أَن يَقُومْ وَيَمْشِي خُطَوَاتٍ. Others said he has to get up and walk some steps and back and forth. That's insane. What are you going to do? Walk around like that? What the heck's happening? That's messed up, man. Kasme, right? وقال بعضهم ينبغي أن يصعد درجة ويأتي من أعلاها بسرعة. He said that, he goes that some of them said he has to go up to a couple of steps and then rush down. And he goes, all of this is narrated by Ibn Taymiyyah in Majmu' al-Fatawa and by Imam Ibn Qayyim in Al-Ighatha. And Shaykh Uthaymeen says, وَكُلُّ هَذَا مِنْ وَسْوَاسِدْ الَّتِي لَا أَصْلَ لَهَا وَالدِّينُ وَلِلَّهِ الْحَمْدُ يُسْرٌ. Wallahi. Honestly, this is beautiful. He goes, all of this is just from the whisperings of shaitan, absolute nonsense. And all praise be to Allah, this deen is ease. This deen is easy and good. So alhamdulillah, this is good. I like that. And I just want to mention at this point the issue of urinating standing up. I want you to know there is a difference of opinion. Okay, Aisha radiallahu anha, she was the most prominent opinion on this. She said no, we're not allowed to urinate standing up. And the reason for that is clear, because she as one of the household never saw the Prophet ﷺ urinating except sitting down. And the Prophet ﷺ, yes, he would go far away, but there was also a portion of the house where he could do that as well. You can almost call it a house toilet. It was a part in the corner where he would sometimes, but rarely, but sometimes. Every time that he was there, he was sitting down. So the asl is that. The problem that we don't accept Aisha radiallahu anha's opinion is because it has been narrated in Sahih Muslim in a number of hadith, and the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam ata subata qawmin fabala qa'ima. This is Sahih Muslim, and the hadith of the narrated on the authority of Hudayfa, that the Prophet ﷺ, when he would come to the toilet area of the people, we would see him urinating standing up. Okay, so this is something which is well established, that he urinated standing up. And there's a huge discussion to this matter. Some people said, yeah, he urinated standing up because he was suffering from weak knees at that time and he couldn't sit down. Other ulama, this is the ulama speaking, other ulama said that he was suffering from a condition in the loins. And the Arab, they used to say that urinating standing reduces the pain in the salb, in the loins. Okay? Maybe spinal pain, I don't know. Alright? And others said that no, this is abrogated. It's definitely not abrogated. These are later ahadith. Other ulama said that this is only to be done. This and Mukhtar al-Shanqiti, he likes this last opinion. He said that the it's only to be done when you come to Subat al-Qawm, yani you come to a dirty area. The whole point is it's a dirty area, and he did it in a dirty area because to sit down in a dirty area. Now I want you to understand what I mean by dirty area. When I say dirty area, I mean an area where it's all full of feces, basically. Yeah, that's the whole point. This is all feces, so you can't step anywhere, you can't sit down. There's a risk of your thobe and stuff being dragged in it. So it's obvious you're not going to go in an area, you're going to urinate. And so some people said that. And Sheikh Muhammad Mukhtar al-Shanqiti said that's a fair enough explanation. But it doesn't take away from the fact that the asl is sitting down and that to urinate standing is allowed. And according to Sheikh Muhammad Mukhtar al-Shanqiti, and this is my opinion as well in the top position of this class, القول الراجح والعلم عند الله يجوز البول قائما ولو لم يوجد عذرا إلا أن الأفضل أن يبول جالسا. It is permissible, this is my statement, it is permissible to urinate standing up even if he doesn't have an excuse to urinate standing up. Yet the basic principle is to urinate sitting down. That's the complete statement, okay? You are allowed to urinate. You don't have to have a pressing need or some excuse or something. You're allowed. That's the reason he did it, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to allow it for his ummah, for a need. All right. But the Muhammad al-Shanqiti is saying that there's no evidence to suggest there has to be a need. He has allowed it. He has done it, and therefore you can do it if you wish. You don't have to have an excuse. You don't need to be ma'zoor, as they say, as we say, Pak say. It doesn't have to be someone who's ill or needs an excuse or something. He's allowed to do it. No problem. But you should know that the basic principle when it comes to urinating is to sit down. That is more becoming, more clean, etc., etc., etc. So that's the summary, if you like, of the situation. Is that cool? If that's cool, then we'll close on that and we'll just take a couple of questions, inshallah, and then we'll do the adhan of Maghrib. Are we good with that? Okay, good. Jazakumullah khair. Yeah.
So just the last point then.
Yeah.
Is it in the modern age then? Is it still preferable to basically urinate sitting down because of the issue of concealment and splashback in public urination?
So Shazad saying that, what about modern day? Modern day is our normal toilets, yeah, and normal toilet is ridiculous to urinate standing up, to be honest, yeah. For anyone to be urinating standing up in those toilets is a disaster. It's a adab wise, practice wise, everything, because people don't, what men do, they don't lift the seat and that disgusting behavior, right? People urinate on the floor as well, and we expect these bathrooms, yani, to, you have the idea that they're clean when you take off your clothes or anything like that. And obviously the splashing back is a lot more pronounced when you're coming from a higher drop point or whatever, I don't know what you want to call it, but higher that point. So that's a problem. So in our toilets at home, people should sit down. I don't want to say it's obligated, because the reason they should sit down or they must sit down is because they have to be sure that they're not creating definite circumstances where they're bringing najasa back upon themselves. All right? But if it's possible, as I said, in a modern day urinal, they're shaped in that way to minimize that. They're actually shaped. But you've got to be careful. In a public urinal, I said to you that my understanding of that hadith is clear, that the man was cursed in the grave, he was punished in the grave because he was not concealing his private parts, which is what happens in modern day urinals. You have to be very, very careful. So urinating standing is allowed. You don't have to have an excuse to do it. Try your very best to understand the mechanics and the physics of your toilet and where you go to the toilet, so that you don't make a mess when you're doing it and it causes then a problem for you. And likewise, when you're urinating, do not get caught up on the fact that there's still more urine in there. There's still more urine in there, and you're squeezing and you're squeezing and you're shaking and you're shaking. You urinate, then you say that's enough now. You wash 3 times. If you don't have the water, you use the toilet paper 3 times. Don't go back 4th time, 5th time, 6th time. You will definitely still find more urine. You will keep finding it. You wash. That's why washing is great, because you know you've washed, you know it's wet because of water, and then you don't worry about any wetness after that because you know that it's dealt with. This is some points. And I guess, and moving to another, let's finish this now. This is a section, isn't it? Moving to another place to clean the private parts if soiling oneself is feared is a common sense point. If you're out there in those areas and use najasa all over the place, especially if you've just done a number 2, to then try to then risk cleaning yourself in the same area is a risky scenario. You could get your hand dirty and this dirty and everything else dirty. And so the idea is that then you take a couple of steps, move to another area where you're able to use water. Okay, where you're able to use water and it's not going to splash back. Obviously, if you're doing istijmar, dry cleaning, using a toilet or a paper or using stones or clods of earth, then there's no problem. Which is why in the Arabic it says وَتَحَوُّلُهُ مِنْ مَوْضِئِهِ لِيَسْتَنْجِيَ فِي غَيْرِهِ. For istinja, the risk is higher because it keeps splashing. And there's an interesting point. An interesting point in my opinion. When you're making istinja upon your toilet, and you're using your whatever you're using, the spray and X, Y, Z, the application of the classical principle to modern day is that when you are using water, that amount of water, it's also splashing back najasa back onto you. So it is acceptable for a person to do what? To clean himself and to flush the toilet whilst he's still there, so that what you've got now is only clean water underneath. And therefore, when you're doing your istinja and you're cleaning your private parts, any splashing is splashing from clean water. Do you understand my point? Okay? This is also an acceptable principle, and this is the modern day application of fi makanin rakhwa. Fi makanin rakhwa. Same principle. You flush the toilet, now you've only got clean water underneath. All that's remaining is now for you to do istinja with your private parts now. You can now wash it cleanly. Any splashback is mitigated because the water and the surroundings is now clean. Alright, that's not an obligation, I'm saying it's a bit of advice. And that completes that entire section. The next week will then be upon the disliked matters. The site was being upgraded and stuff, and it was down and stuff, but everything's back up again. You can ask any further questions on the forums. We'll pick them up there inshallah. Wa jazakumullahu khairan. Any things I need to make? Huh? Announcement about? What about Maghrib? Oh yeah, goodness, yeah. Guys, locally, everyone here and anyone who's in the northwest, we have Sheikh Riyad Warzazi, who's giving the khutbah at Masjid al-Furqan, Somali Masjid in Rusholme. I'm sure you all know. Check that out. And he's teaching forever on Sifatul Jahannam and Jannah this week, Friday, in Salford at the Oasis Academy. Go and check that out. Posters are outside. So that's Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday, a few spaces left, I think. And that's it. That's it. Okay. See you guys next week. Jazakumullah khair. Same time. Jazakumullah khair. Yes, Is it gone?
No.
No. Yeah, please. Stop.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح
شكرا.
الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
لا إله إلا الله. استووا أقيموا صفوفكم واعتدلوا. Very straight and fill of gaps between you and don't block the access, please. Who's sending? Because we have no space here, brothers. Here, second. That's fine. استووا. switch off your mobiles, please. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والذاريات ذروا فالحاملات وقرا فالجاريات يسرا فالمقسمات أمرا إنما توعدون لصادق وإن الدين لواقع والسماء ذات الحبك إنكم لفي قول مختلف يؤفك عنه من أفك قتل الخراصون الذين هم في غمرة ساهون. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. يسألون أيان يوم الدين يوم هم على النار يفتنون ذوقوا فتنتكم هذا الذي كنتم به تستعجلون. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Just a quick announcement. Those who want to combine the Salat al-Maghrib and Isha, they should go to the platform. They start now straight away. And those who want to stay and